Welcome to Overwatch. This time we're going to be doing coaching the many with Reinhardt, and you can see him in the background there. We're going to be coaching a lovely man named Hammerfight. I believe this match was at about 3k-ish, SR 2,979. So we're literally on the platinum diamond border. You see we've got a lot of plats, we've got a lot of diamonds. It's pretty mixed on both teams. And basically we're going to be talking a lot about positioning, keeping his shield up, where you're going to be effective. Like Reinhardt, he's pretty simple in terms of like what you want to be doing with him, right? You are the big wall in front of your team. You have some powerful control resources by using stuff like Earthshatter. You can exert a lot of forward pressure. You can claim space for your team by just moving forward and your team fights behind it. You can also just determine the ebb and flow. You can also assassinate people pretty well with charge, but it's always a very big risk when you do that. So charging is always one of these big liabilities. This video, we are going to be watching this man called Hammerfight. He's also in the chat at the moment. He's very excited that he's sort of going to be torn apart on stream in front of a bunch of people, which is always fun. And yeah, it should be pretty good. We're going to talk a lot about positioning, how to position yourself, prioritizing, and also a little bit about communication when you're playing Reinhardt. Because Hammerfight here does actually do some good communication, but also does some bad things as well at the same time. So goodbye Twitch chat. Thank you for hanging out at the start, but hey, we'll be swinging by you guys later. Now, of course, if you have questions, it's always best to save them towards the end. Just because it's so much harder for me to sort of look over. Every now and then I will be able to glance over. Hey.
Able to watch.
3 fucking months. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Darth Metazoa. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Glad to have you here. So apparently, Hammerfight taken over from a reluctant Reinhardt. Starting fairly standard here on the old Watchpoint Gibraltar. Now, first things first.
All up top of the range.
Like, let's just talk about getting into position, because this is pretty standard positioning, right? Hey, I've got the pen tool back. So enemy team likes to defend up here. This is pretty standard. They're all probably sort of clumped up here as well on this high ground area over here. So you got like the wall there, and you got like the catwalk down there. So enemy team's all in this area here. Ooh, as I shade it in. Nice. And they're all going to be shooting down from here. Where we want to be, actually, we want to get over here as quickly as possible. So the way we do that is we do our Reinhardt bunny hopping. What you're doing is you're basically just jumping forward, putting your shield up as you jump, and that extra momentum keeps carrying you forward, and it'll actually get you over there faster. Because this barrier is super, super important. We're going to be talking about this barrier an awful lot.
Shield.
Anytime that the enemy team can shoot this while you aren't actually actively protecting, so actually it was really nice like a second ago, I should have paused it then, so we're just going to roll forward. Anytime the enemy team can just shoot this and you guys can't fire back or people aren't in position to fire back, it's bad for you guys, right? You want to get this into position as fast as possible so that this guy can stand here, so that someone could stand back, you know, it could be standing here. And then you can shoot into their barrier, while most of their team still probably futzes around over here or futzes around back here, and they can't quite shoot you as well because the payload is in the way. And right now we are in quite actually a fun mode, which is what I call just slow rolling mode, where we aren't actually trying to like compete with the enemy team for space. The enemy team isn't going to contest us until at least we start getting around, you know, here, around this corner. So we can actually sit safely behind the payload and just use the payload as a bit of extra cover, and just slowly advance forward with the barrier up. You just have to be aware of where their damage dealers are, and if their damage dealers pull back, then we drop the barrier and give it a chance to recharge. And recharging the barrier is very important, as we'll show as we go on and go on and go on. So, okay. Advancing forward, just shooting into their barrier, perfectly fine, perfectly fine. An interesting call out gets made here.
Drop down.
What's the drop down? Drop downs, like, I don't know if this is a platinum thing, I don't know or not, but you tend not to see them. Standard defense on this map usually involves, basically you stand up here until the enemy team gets to probably about here, and then you just pull back, you drop down here, and you hold towards the server room. People tuck into the server room, people fight around that corner, and as you're trying to go down this ramp and come back up, that's when all the damage starts coming through. I love this pen tool, by the way, it's so cool. Okay.
Oh, they did not drop down.
So they're not going to be dropping down. Like now, while they are moving, this is a great opportunity. So now that you've seen them pulling back, your team is sort of stood behind you, like a little bit behind you. They're not actually being protected by this barrier, and the enemy team can't shoot at you while they're repositioning. It's just a good time to just drop the barrier and let it rest, and even if it's 100 hit points gained, like that's still 100 hit points that wouldn't be there. That's a fire strike, basically. Well, you're not going to block a fire strike, but that's helix rockets or a fire rocket or something like that that's being blocked away and not actually going to be, you know, won't actually go through the barrier when the barrier goes down, which is nice.
Down.
It's finding little opportunities like this to optimize your barrier. where you can just drop it, let it rest, heal up a tiny bit because it heals pretty quickly,
Okay, cool.
and it all feels nice. Like, this Reinhardt on his own isn't a threat yet. Lucio, not a threat yet. Now that other stuff is starting to come down behind him, now that Zarya's there, now that we have a threat, now you bring the barrier up. But during that time, you could have healed about 200 hit points. And it sounds like a very small thing, but it does start making a difference the more and more and more you play.
Shield's
and the
at
high
a
level you
quarter
get.
health.
Because our shield is getting absolutely hammered
I'll let Reinhardt Roadhog tank.
as we start advancing forward. And then this, to me, is kind of a weird call. I'll let Roadhog tank now. Roadhog isn't that kind of tank. Roadhog can't stand in front of the end of you. Oh, got a cough. Ah. So Roadhog isn't that kind of tank, where he can't just stand in front of the enemy team and tank up a load of damage, because if he does that, he feeds them ultimate charge, and he just takes a shitload of damage and ends up dying. The advantage of a barrier is that while it's being shot, you're not giving anything up on the enemy team. They don't gain any ultimate charge from it, they're just hitting nothing, basically, and doing no damage behind it. So when Roadhog tries to tank like that, he just gets annihilated. Basically, in this instance, what should be happening is one of two things, okay? Let's turn this down.
Roadhog tank.
So when you're starting to get to this position, like, you can already see that we're not going to have enough barrier. You know, if you mentally map out how quickly our barrier's been going down, we are not going to have enough when we're on like 450 to advance all the way up here. So we have to come up with a plan. One of two things needs to happen. Either A, we say, okay guys, barrier's going down, I'm going to rest it a bit, which means we simply tuck into here. It's nice and safe. Our team can still kind of safely poke the enemy team's barrier. Or we say it's go time. Right now, I think the better decision is to just go tuck in here, regenerate the barrier, and then continue the push a little bit later. While Roadhog, for example, peeks back and forth here, just walks out, fires a shot, walks back in, walks out, fires a shot. And then when you do start the push, this barrier is going to be at about 1,000 hit points. Your barrier is going to be at 2,000. That gives you a huge advantage going forward. Instead, what we try and do is we're basically trying to force everything in a single push. And then Roadhog ends up paying the price for it because he tries to advance forward and then just gets absolutely creamed because he steps into, like, what I call a death alley, where basically this happens a lot. This happens a lot on Dorado. It also happens here on Gibraltar, where either side of the payload there are two sort of Reinhardt wide spaces, and Reinhardts can just get free charges through these. So pushing through these is always going to be super dangerous. Roadhog pushes into it, he gets hit by a charge. The only way we're recovering from this, because now we don't have a barrier, there's no protection. So this guy is instantly in trouble. He's already like low on health, so this is his full health bar. He's already down here. He's at about 200. Zarya can follow up on him. Anyone shooting from back here can follow up on him nice and easy. We don't have our barrier quite... Well, it is available, but we're out of position. The best thing we can hope to do right now, I'd say, is actually punish this guy. And I do that by just charging to here. What that means is that when we finish the charge, we're going to end up here, which is where we want to be, because then we can put a barrier across here. It also means that he either has... We'll catch him pretty much no matter what with this distance. But if he doesn't get caught, it means he's run this way, which is, you know, towards our team, which is honestly not a bad thing, because Anna could probably sleep him, all that kind of good stuff. Move yourself a bit. Oh, so we can see barrier hit points. Jesus, yeah, sorry about that. Whoa. I'll go over here. There we go. That's nicer. Sorry about that. Oh, God. Instead, we try and catch, like, the Zarya, which I think is overbold, because Zarya can just block it. And, like, the decision to charge here, rather than going here, I'm not keen on it, because the Reinhardt, odds are the Reinhardt's going to try and confirm this kill. It will take a smarter Reinhardt than this one to, you know, pull back and let his team confirm the kill. So we go in, and you notice the Reinhardt is exactly where I pointed to, so this would have been a good opportunity to get a lot of damage on that Reinhardt. Instead, our Roadhog gets cut down. We end up a little bit too far forward. Luckily, the Lucio helpfully helps us reposition, pushes us back, we shield up. Okay, we want to be pulling back at this point, by the way. We don't want to be standing here. Again, just keeping in mind that we have 400 charge left. Roadhog is dead. Their team is advancing, pushing forward. They also have like a mercy damage amping stuff. We cannot fight this. We want to be pulling back already as fast as we can, and this is where you start calling for speed from Lucio. You say speed and pull us back. Novel decision, trying to run in. Again, they have a Zarya. If you're taking charges, always be aware of this chick. If you haven't seen a bubble in a while, don't take the charge, basically. Because she will win those engagements for him. And it's all going wrong. We managed to jump the Reinhardt. And quite rightly, someone in chat says, oh my god. I said, oh my god, when I first watched this, like a valley girl. I went, oh my god, did he just jump that? And yeah, he kind of did, actually. It's actually pretty funny. I couldn't believe this when I saw it, that he managed to jump the charge. Unfortunately, Soldier 76 dies anyway, and then we die immediately after, because, you know, we have no barrier left, and everyone's dying. So yeah, that was just a bit of overstaying by on our part. Oh god, I got a cough again.
All right, let's group up. Group up.
There we go. I've also got to make sure I open the mic. Okay, cool for grouping up. Now we actually have a choice. We didn't quite get the payload through all the way in the tunnel, so like if this is the tunnel, kind of a steep slope here, you know, you have like the underpassage where you push the payload through, but we could always go over and drop down over the top. We have this choice available to us now. It's actually very, very powerful. Like, the way I think of this map is pretty simple. And the way I think of it is this. First push, we want to get the payload to about here. Okay? Like, this is a side-on cutaway view of the map. Very crudely drawn. Like, there's a wall here as well. Whoop. Then, when you get the payload here, then you advance through this way, and you go up here, and then you drop down onto the payload, because you can fight better from the high ground and shoot down. It also gives you cover from, like, the high ground over this way, which is where they're going to be shooting down and shooting into the tunnel. So you just have a better approach angle. You can also even go up on top of, like, the box over here. There's just, like, the little steps over here. So you can jump up here, and you can push and go down there if you're feeling super fancy. That's honestly a bit too fancy for most people. So we want to be thinking about that. Instances like this, you want to be a bit careful. Definitely take a peek around the corner. This is a dead McCree, okay? This is either the cleverest man in the world or the stupidest, and it's honestly the stupidest. And the reason why is this, and this is like a small communications thing, but when you see this and we have a Lucio, you say, Lucio, speed boost us. And then you run this way, and you go up the stairs, go around, and then, like, he's got to run this way. You will catch him before he runs because you've got speed, and he doesn't. He's dead. You should be taking advantage of this.
Take that, McCree.
And it's not just you that, you know, should be doing this. It should be the Lucio calling for it, honestly, but hey. Like, luckily the Roadhog goes up there, catches him, kills him. Okay, good.
Ready to push. Going?
Now's when you push. Now's when you say, okay, can we speed? And because you want to close this distance, this is why speed is so important for Reinhardt. Like, we're on 1216 barrier. You can see it easier over here. Okay, we're on 1216 barrier. We want to close this distance as fast as possible so that we take the least amount of possible damage, so that we're right in there Reinhardt's face when we have the barrier. Now, the one thing we've got to be careful of is that the enemy Reinhardt sort of used our Roadhog as a pinata, and so he could be very, very dangerous at the moment. You can see barriers are pretty close, because these cracks here mean it's 1,000. Enemy Reinhardt's also getting a bit cracked, so he's on about 1,000.
Right now.
Your Roadhog should be shelling into this. Now he's sort of joined you guys. Advancing forward. Now we have an opportunity to circle around behind. You've got Earthshatter. That definitely means he does. Excellent Earthshatter here. Oh no, he used it in the last fight, didn't he? Am I forgetting something? I'm pretty sure he actually used it in the first engagement. Because I remember thinking, this is why I've got Earthshatters on the brain. I think he used it around here somewhere. Which means that he doesn't, which means we definitely bully the shit out of him. Because he got it so quickly. Yeah, he used it on the kill cam. There. Hammer down. So he doesn't have it. Sorry. I had Earthshatter in the brain because I remember watching the volume, but note the Earthshatter here, and it's like doing it completely backwards. So yeah, he used Earthshatter. That means he won't have it. That means we can just push in. That means we definitely want to close this distance. And there Reinhardt makes a huge mistake here. Right now. Because he basically sidesteps you, and you want to sidestep him. Like, he goes this way, Zarya puts a bubble on him, and that just leaves us open to get here, and then just Earthshatter across this. No fucking problem. Nice. Nice. We definitely want to be pushing up from that server room side. There we go. We're kind of unlucky here in that we don't get the Mercy. It might not have been clear. But you can see Mercy is over here, and she tucks around the back here. We definitely wanted to pick our charge target here. We sort of charged the median, is what I call this. Where, if I can just get the frame right, if I remember right, is it bracket? No, it's comma. Let's just keep going back. There we go, perfect. So we end up charging here, and we charge like the median, so, you know, 50% between both of them, and they both, like, Lucy goes over here, Zarya goes over here, and it all kind of goes chaotic. We definitely wanted to just either fire strike this, which is on cooldown, or we just charge this. And I'd say charge this, because what this does is you should be constructing like a plan in your mind of, okay, I've just seen Mercy tuck away. That's a sign that she has res. I want to go put pressure on this Mercy so that she's forced to either res super early or that we just kill her. If I charge this way, let's just make this nice and clear. If I charge this way, I end up here where the Mercy's trying to hide. My team can easily clean this up, or I put so much pressure on the Mercy that she reses, picks up Lucio, but doesn't pick up the hurt Zarya, and then Zarya's just out of the fight, and you just clean up on the Zarya afterwards. So that's kind of the plan that's constructing my mind when I saw this. And what I saw instead is we ended up here, we boot the Lucio away, who luckily Genji goes to confirm the kill, and then for some reason we turn this way, and Genji needs to be hunting this, and you should be taking a swing at this.
Get this Mercy.
You call for Mercy, and this is sort of where I start going, well, this is kind of a big problem that I'm seeing. Our barrier is here. We have 1 DPS, 2 DPS, I think there's a 3rd DPS, the Genji's over here. 3 people, 3 important people are all over here. We're doing okay by pushing the payload, but honestly, we should be focusing on this Mercy. We win the fight, then we push the payload. And other people, and I see Hammerfight doing this a lot, is he spends all of his time standing on the payload when there's other people that could be standing on the payload. Realistically speaking, the Ana should be on the payload, and your Lucio should be on the payload, because they can both do their jobs while still stood in this area. You, however, cannot do your job when you're standing behind your entire team. You're just like a lead weight on the payload. You're not doing anything useful. You're just there to push the payload. You could be anyone, any hero, it doesn't matter, but you're not being Reinhardt right now. And where you start leveraging being Reinhardt is at this point, where like, there's nothing stopping you just walking this way and just hammering this chick to death. There's nothing to protect right now. Like, Hog's protecting himself. Genji's Dragon Bladed. He's perfectly fine. Nothing's threatening these 2 people. We could just push in here, swing a couple of times at this Mercy, and she will be dead. And there's no escape for her. And I'd say we just go for that because that would be worth killing. Just because she provides so much healing during the fight. And it's just such a missed opportunity because, like, Lucio could just stay here and keep the payload moving, and that will be perfectly fine. As long as the payload's moving, it doesn't matter.
Get this Mercy.
But for some reason, we don't start pressuring this Mercy. Then their Reinhardt comes back. Okay, now we're locked in a duel. Now we're okay burying. I wouldn't mind seeing a couple more swats, like a little bit more aggressive swatting of this Reinhardt, but we're okay. Now's when we bury her. Like, now's the perfect time to bury her. Now's when we want to drag this fight out, because we have more DPS alive than them. They just have a Reinhardt barrier. They've got like a Tracer behind us, so that's not too big of an issue. With charge, okay, feels bad, man. Okay, they've just used sound barrier, we've used sound barrier, we have the boost. Would have preferred seeing us going on the Lucio. Like, we smacked the Lucio once, just turning around. I mean, we don't have Fire Strike available, so maybe. But I wouldn't mind just looking and seeing if the Lucio's still in range, because you'll be surprised. Because odds are, how to explain this? Lucio got knocked this way, and what a hammer knock does is it pulls people to one side. Okay, it just pulls. Jesus, that's a really messy image, actually. Oh. Like, if we go forward a couple of frames, it might be okay. Come on, find a keyframe. Find a keyframe. Jesus, so blurry. Give me a keyframe. Oh, YouTube encoding. Isn't it wonderful? Okay, whatever. It's going to be blurry no matter what. But the hammer swing drags Lucio to the side. And so he might not be near the ramp to the server room where he can escape. You could turn around and just swat him again, for example. I would have liked to look at that at least, because killing the enemy Lucio is actually a huge win for you, because the biggest counter to a Reinhardt who's got nano boost is speed boost. And you just speed boost and run away. Like, this guy runs and these people run in here. It should still give you enough to just push the payload and win, but hey. Instead we go on the Reinhardt. The sleep is fine. Just stuns him up a bit, slows him down. And honestly, like, it's already done. Just the Lucio manages to escape, jumps down the point, but hey, this is a free kill. Again, we should be swinging this, like, there's no need to barrier here. What are we protecting? Nothing. It's a Lucio, for Christ's sake, he's going to do like 20 damage and then the payload will heal it. And in instances like this as well, don't be too afraid to keep an eye on like what's coming up here. And this is just general watch point Gibraltar. But always keep an eye out for opportunities. Oh god, I can't actually move like this back and forward if I do this. There we go. As this door is opening, always be thinking about a good charge opportunity, because the enemy team will be running like crazy this way, especially if the fight was close to when you start pushing. Actually, when the fight's a little bit of a distance, like about 8 seconds before you actually get the point, there's usually 1 or 2 spawns here. I generally try and look for a charge to just cut someone off and just get a kill, especially if you can knock them. There's like a nook here. Let's highlight that. My amazing drawing skills. So there's like the nook back here. If you knock people into that, they are going to die. And you have 2,000 barrier, so even if you charge over there and you get stuck over there, you should still be pretty safe. Because you want an Ana and a Lucio to still pull you out. So this is actually a safe charging point. So just keeping an eye out for opportunities like that isn't a bad idea. You didn't really have one in this instance, so it's not too big of a problem, but hey.
Yep, good work so far, guys.
And I'm fine with us staying on the payload right now while, like, Genji, Roadhog go looking for picks. We've got 3 people on it. We're claiming space. We're gaining ground. So I'm fine with being on the payload right now. Now is when we want to start pushing around the corner, though. So now is when we want to leave the payload and start setting up for this corner. And this is honestly when I say you probably want to be staying in front of the payload, because we are trying to gain as much ground as possible. We are not trying to do a slow push here. Like, we've got some, I believe did we get any kills during this stage? Yeah, we got the Zarya. So we want to get this payload in position as fast as possible and then start exerting pressure on them as quickly as we can, especially because we probably still also have barrier advantage. By the way, you haven't dropped your barrier in all this time, and we're still down 80 hit points. Heal that up. There's no reason not to. That 80 hit points could be the difference between Shadow going through or not. Shields down.
Wreck the Rhine.
Good block. Very good block. Okay, keep the barrier up. Now it's when we charge. Good combo by them.
Wreck the Rhine.
But good block, very good block. Forces out the graviton, and this is honestly like good by you. Like in this instance, though, I would like to see you trying to just muscle forward and just keep the barrier up, because we haven't seen a nice shadow out of him in a while, so he probably has one. Just muscling forward, trying to gain space. It's honestly almost a detriment that the Roadhog grabs that and no one finishes that off. But really good recovery from you. It's honestly a mistake, I'd say, by this Reinhardt to pull back past you so that you can just block this. And then, when you see this is when you charge. Especially when your barrier goes down. Just try for the desperation charge, but...
That's alright, they can use their ults.
It's fine. Like, and you say it correctly, it's alright. They can use their ults, and... Like, for even more bonus, because it was very hard to hear during the fight, they also use Deadeye. Very good fight for you guys, actually. Very good fight, because they use 4 ultimates. 4 fucking ultimates. At least. And then there's a free Zarya.
Nice.
What the fuck? What is happening here? I'm guessing she's... yeah, Anna's the last one to die, which is a bit sad. Anna just takes too long to die. Die fast when the fight is over, guys. Try and die as quickly as you can. But the Zarya completely stupidly sacrifices herself, and it's such a loss for Zarya to die. You guys have a lot of resources available. Now's when you want to be a little bit careful. But honestly, like, they are letting you get so much position. Again, we have a charge opportunity here. If Reinhardts do this and, like, jump down all the way to here... Again, think about, like, charge points. You got, like, this wall over here. If you end up over here, you are still safe. Like, if you finish up your charge over there, they can't really run around that easily to come kill you. You can just put your barrier up and you'll be perfectly fine. So, we can afford to take risky charges here. He's going to get caught in the back of the payload. I would have honestly just charged this way right now. And I hope we're going to see that happen. Bit too late, bit too slow. We dilly-dallied a little bit too long. Bit of a shame, but hey. Like, in general, think of charging as... You're not even necessarily looking for the charge here, but you're looking to force him into a bad position. Because if he sees... If this guy goes... if we draw some eyes on him... Right, this is this Reinhardt right now, and he's got a big smiley face on him. Actually, we can do a higher contrast color, like yellow. No, actually, let's do it in blue. Okay, so this is the Reinhardt's face right now, and he's got a big smiley face on him. And he's just jumped down and he's thinking, I'm tanky for my team. And then he sees you charge and going for him. Well, then what happens is this, and he goes, oh my god! And then he has to make a huge decision point, right? He has to either come forward into your team, into the Roadhog, which he doesn't want to do, or he has to try and risk making a break for it. And he's just fucked. Like, no matter what you do, no matter what he does, he's either going to get killed by you or he's going to get killed by Roadhog. And that's the opportunities we should be looking for. Because if you can delete this Reinhardt, your team isn't even in position yet, so they're not really trading blows. We can just get rid of this Reinhardt immediately. Because we take a little bit too long, Lucia comes and bails him out, which is a little bit unfortunate. We still have a huge advantage, however, it's nothing too bad. Like, they are low on barrier, so he's trying to heal his up. This is what basically him doing this means, is he's trying to just heal it up. But he's still very low on barrier. We are on 75%. Very worried, like, again, this Reinhardt is just asking for death. This is when a Roadhog hook would have been nice, but hey, it doesn't happen. Your team should be winning the Reinhardt battle. Unfortunately, somehow you're not winning the Reinhardt battle in like a massive, stupid way. But we are very, very close, and they are very, very close to losing as well. This is where we should be looking for opportunities to get past it, and this is actually a beautiful move by your Roadhog. Because in all this time...
Roadhog takeover.
Somehow the enemy Reinhardt has managed to build up enough charge to get another Shadow. but he makes the newbie mistake of trying to Earth Shatter while whole hogged. And if you aren't intimately familiar, guys, with how this is a beautiful screen to be paused on. There we go. This is a nice one. It's a nice one. So if you aren't familiar with how Earth Shatter works, the Earth Shatter does not go off until you hit the floor. Like Reinhardt jumps, shouts "Hammer down!" and then he hits his microphone, so you guys can't hear anything. There we go. Let's not do that anymore. So he jumps, swings his hammer down, and until it touches the floor, the hammer down doesn't actually go off. So what Rodog can do is during that little hop period, he just floats him in the air, and then he just floated him onto the bridge above, and he hammered down the bridge above and didn't hit anything, and then died. So Rodog did really well there. And again, why is our barrier up? Like, we want to be thinking about, like, this is an opportunity here, right now, to be recharging this. We're not taking it. Our barrier is still up. We have Anna behind us, who is nowhere near the fight. Everyone else is in front of us. We don't need the barrier. We don't need the barrier right now. We want to be looking for position to look to help clean things up, because Reinhardt's actually pretty good.
Save your ults.
Yep. This is a good call, because the fight's already over, because we just threw like 2 more ultimates on the back of it.
Shield's recharging, Road, your tank.
And why this is important, right? Why is this important? Why is this charging the barrier and getting into position important? And I'll tell you why, and this is why I mentioned earlier, because this is true throughout all of Gibraltar, is when you cap a point, you have a huge opportunity to move forward and just keep pressure up, okay? There's a huge, huge, huge opportunity to do it.
Save your ults, save your ults.
So, instead of just standing on the payload with our barrier up, we should be looking to occupy strong position. And what, honestly, you should be looking to do right now is, a bunch of them died, but we're pushing the payload towards it. Lucio, Anna, and probably... Well, let's go back to pink, because it's clearer. Lucio, Anna can stand on the point. Genji can come back to the point to get healed up after using his ult. What you can do now is you can go through this way. And if you think about where the enemy team spawns, the spawn door is here and like over here. So anyone leaving the spawn door has to come out this way and has to cross in front of your path if you run this way. If you have your barrier down and recharging while you're repositioning going this way, what happens... Well, what happens next would be very different. When we get to this...
Ryan Shield's recharging.
And instead of starting to charge it now, we would have started to charge it earlier, so we would already be on 2000 probably, or very near it. This guy... here... would have to cross in front of you. Against a wall that we are allowed to hit, because the wall is right here, so if we charge this way, we end up somewhere safe with a large health pack, even if we like miss where we want to go and go through the 2 doors over here. Like, we can safely go through one of these, even pick up the health pack. We can cut off this person, we can cut off this person. Our team is in such a strong position here, but we are not capitalizing on it. And what this does is when you get these kills here, it gives you just so much free push going up this way. So much free push going up this way. Instead, we're standing on the payload.
Okay, we have an Anna and a Lucio and a Reinhardt all to work with right now.
Well, the Lucio goes down, this Reinhardt
Anna,
gets away.
Reinhardt, Lucio ult right now.
Also, because we're doing calls and we're informing people of things, we should inform people that, hey, there's a Soldier 76 behind us.
Copy that.
We just got hit by a rocket in the arse. We really wanted to, you know, point that out. It's important to know where a Soldier 76 is.
Alright, I'm dropping my shield just to let it recharge for its turn.
Okay, we definitely want to be... And, like, even in this instance, we didn't need to really have our shield up at this point. Like, there's nothing that threatening except for some Zarya spam, and honestly, that benefits us, because our healers are going to get ult charge. We definitely want to have 2000 when we reach the corner. There's the Tracer, not our problem. And I really like this.
Yeah, Road, you watch the back, I'll watch front.
Good. You've named someone to do it, and it's the correct option. Rodog's going to be very good at it. Rodog actually gets a hook. Makes Tracer's life a bit miserable. Soldier would have perhaps been a little bit better at it, but Soldier's getting set up on the high ground for his ult, I think. No, not his ult, he's just setting up on the high ground. We definitely want to be focusing on the front, though. We can't focus on the Tracer, so someone else has to deal with that. Hey, free Zarya kill. Again, we want to be bunny hop. This is where we bunny hop forward, because we've got 2 supports behind us, but we want to be catching up to this Roadhog and this Lucio and this Genji, in case they need to pull back towards us. So this is where you want to do bunny hops. And bunny hops, again, is very simple. You jump, put the barrier up, and you continue that momentum forward. It's just way faster getting forward, while you still provide pretty similar levels of protection. So we definitely want to be bunny hopping forward.
Drops him.
This was the luckiest Earth Shatter in the world. But you did the right thing by telling the team, like, as soon, like, once the enemy Reinhardt is gone, I'm gonna Earth Shatter. Get some very blurry pixelated mess. Let's try and get... Come on, the hammer's in the way. There's no good shot here of Mercy falling over, unfortunately. But yeah, we get super lucky here. this Earthshatter could have gone one or two ways. We catch both of these people, which is huge value, because this guy is like the main DPS. Mercy is probably still has res, because we didn't see res in the last fight. We, for some reason, focus on the soldier first. We should have just swung on the Mercy, just in case no one else decided to follow up on it. Hey, we're pretty solid right now. I love the fact that he gets knocked back while we're getting pulled in as well, and just like, gets stuck against the door. We don't want to be on the point here, actually. We want to be standing pretty much where the Roadhog is standing, and we just stand there and block, and then when they come towards us, we just start swinging at them. Because what that means is that when they try and break out the spawn, they're taking like 75 damage instantly, and getting pulled back in, and getting body blocked by one of the biggest characters, well, two of the biggest characters in the game, so they're going to have a hard time coming out. And it just stops stuff like them getting out for free. We don't need protection over here. We don't need to be blocking damage here when we can be blocking damage here. We already have 3 people on the payload. There's 5 people on the payload, for heaven's sake. That's not actually making a difference. We could have perhaps stopped this area getting out. We could have perhaps eaten the Graviton Surge like right at the door so that people aren't getting pulled off the point, and they can't get to it to contest it, and the payload just rolls right in. There is always the risk of 1 or 2 people going the long way and coming out the back door, but that happens. You want to just slow down the immediate threats coming from the front door. Otherwise, you're swinging. Try and protect that. Poor Anna, I think, who's getting mauled right now, but hey, feels bad, man. We get surrounded and killed. And they manage to break out, and we don't get the point in, well,
Yeah,
a little while. Let's see. So, looking at this screen, like, I hope we're not just looking at this screen for no reason, because we want to be creating a plan. The plan is pretty simple. This is the plan. Get this man into a good position, and then he kills everyone. That should be the plan that's forming in your mind. That's the plan certainly forming in my mind.
Yeah, I haven't seen a Mercy res in a while, so if we can prioritize her, that's probably smart.
Yeah, Mercy,
Good call.
Mercy most definitely has res.
And this is honestly, this is just a generally good tip. Try and keep an eye on your counterparts and call out when your counterparts have ultimates. So it shouldn't be like the Lucio trying to keep track of everyone's ultimate. If you're playing Anna and you haven't seen a nano boost in a while, the enemy nano boost in a while, it's your Anna's job to keep track of that, basically. So, you know, if you got like, DPS should be keeping track of other DPS ults, tanks should be keeping track of other tank ults, and then calling them out accordingly. It's just sort of how you structure the team. It is a good idea to try and keep track of as many as possible, but in general, at the bare minimum, keep track of your counterpart. We should be helping this Roadhog push and poke, because he can win us this fight. That said, they have a Roadhog of their own now, so we're in a little bit of danger. No.
Yeah, I almost have my ult.
Should they have a shadow? Yeah, they should. Can't remember the last time they used one. They might have used one when we used it. I wasn't paying that much attention. It's not my job. Hammer fights, yo. Anyway, this is an amazing opportunity. Because this Reinhardt is dead. He's like 200 hit points, been hooked. This should be an instant kill. Mercy's in the middle. We definitely want to be catching that. I'm thinking let's drop it about here. So let's like, if we don't have speed on, we should have speed on. Like if you're a Lucian, you see this happen. Speed, for the love of Christ, because like their tank's gone, our tank's trying to get into position. So let's help him. And I don't like the fact that we stopped moving for a second. Done a bit more to the left. Oh, God, that's so close. We're lucky that Mercy came in. Nice. Okay. And then our team starts cleaning up. Like, this doesn't matter. Hog's just going to get shot in the back. Style points. I see things like this, and on a bad day, so on a good day, Mercy, for some bizarre reason, decides to jump inwards. On a bad day, Mercy jumps this way, Earthshatter hits like here, and Mercy survives and then jumps over this and hides back here, and no one notices, and then the fight happens, and you use all your ults, and then they res, and then, you know, heroes never die, and then they come back, and then this guy ults, and then they kill you, and then you don't complete the map, and then, and then it's horrible. Yeah, just a little bit more towards the priority target than Mercy would be nice. Like, we've already called out the Mercy priority. For some reason, she ran inwards. That's lucky for us. Yeah. Small optimization. But you want to definitely get into the habit of using the second to aim. Like, this is your moment to aim. This is your moment to say, you know, if you think about it as like a cone extending in front of us, like, we got half this Earthshatter zone that's going to come out from us. This is just, it's not doing anything. We should be putting this half of the Earthshatter to use. We should be putting it over here. And then we can catch everyone else in this bit. It's just, you know, a small optimization, but hey,
Hello, Mercy.
no reason why not.
Good work.
Good job, guys.
Coffee.
Change
Let's
anything
move
up
forward.
here? Or just